Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to our Hoyoung series, mini-series, and I think today is going to be episode 33 or so? I'm kind of recording this into the future because I'm too lazy to edit videos. But we are going to reach 195 or more. I'm going to say it right now. Right here, right now. We have 2 ace coupons. We have our Monster Park potions. So it's just a matter of time, commitment, and determination to get to level 200. I might actually just aim for 200 and then like speed it up if we go over our 1 minute or 1 hour mark. So like, let's say, you know, this video, I don't know how long it's gonna take me. It might take me at least a couple hours, I'm pretty sure, in real time. But in video time, this video will still be around 50 minutes. That's what I'm hoping for. And by the end of video 50 minutes, I'm hoping we get to level 200. Now, that's what I hope. If it doesn't happen, that means there's one more episode coming. Of me sitting at Fez 2, smacking these things. Oh, great. Don't you love it? And you just get to sit down, enjoy my terrible voice. And then also just hear keyboard ASMR all day long. Well, for an hour. That's basically where we're at. I don't know. There's not much to talk about because this is a very mundane thing to do. It's very repetitive. It's very tedious. I don't know how I don't know how to ramble on for 50 minutes. I'm not that great of a speaker. And that's why I always bring story time. But there's no new stories to be told in this episode because nothing happened. Well, nothing eventful happened within, you know, the past however many hours. Or how many days. So I guess yeah, on the bright side, I have the time to do. I have the time to record. I have the time to play. Mostly because I am now working from home. Working from home. Or hardly working from home. No, I mean, there's not much to do. I'll be honest. There's not much to do. When you're an elementary English school teacher that only teaches, you know, those couple students, there's not much to do. However, I will tell this story then. This is like something that I'm planning to doing with my students as the semester evolves or continues. I am planning on thinking. Oh, wow, I can't English. I can't even speak my own language. I am planning on doing a radio broadcast of some sort, or like some sort of like verbal recording, maybe like a podcast, maybe like a, you know, a short 10 minute like radio broadcast session with my students. That way I can help them with pronunciation, fluency in the language. You know, these are skills that I find that it's harder for just Koreans, even if they've you know, even if they're in like the top universities, right? A lot of Koreans here are just afraid of making mistakes. They don't want to, they're scared of making mistakes, and then making it, like it makes them not want to use the language. Now, I want to teach my students it's okay to make mistakes, right? As a teacher, I make mistakes. I make plenty of mistakes in Korean, And it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, as long as you recognize that you made a mistake, try to correct it the next time this situation occurs, then you're fine, right? As long as you've recognized it, right? That's the most important part. Because the Korean education system here, it's more like memorization. Do it until you know it. And they know it. Students know it. It's just a matter of how do I apply it now? Like, where can I use it? Where is the most appropriate situation to use it? So there was one time where I was talking to one of my admins at the school, and she used a phrase that is very uncommon. I don't remember what the phrase was, but I just couldn't wrap my head around it because I rarely would hear this in North America. It's just not a common thing that we would say. And essentially what she did was she complicated the entire idea, and she made it so complex. And I just told her, just give it to me in simple terms. That's all you need to do if you want to speak well, conversely, if you want to converse very well in English, right? It's the same in Korean. If you want to convey your idea, do it as simple as you can, right? As minimal as you can. The lower amount of words, fewer amount of words there are, the better, right? As long as you can communicate the idea in a straight, concise manner. That's all I needed. But she went in so many different ways. She used so many different vocabulary, and it just threw me off. I was like, you don't need to, just keep it simple. Like, you don't need to say all these fancy words, fancy vocabulary to show off your knowledge of the language. Like, I don't care. you can use, if you can use it in a very concise manner and still, you know, maintain that train of thought, maintain the idea, then, you know, good job. But in daily conversation, we don't use these words. We use these words when we write essays. That's because it's a formal document, right? It's a formal way of communicating an idea that we can't do, you know, when we can't verbally tell someone, right? We have to use, you know, essays. We have to use articles. We have to use abstracts. You know, these things. We write abstracts. We write summaries on the backs of books in order to communicate. Okay, this is what the story's about. You know, and then it has to be a short, concise manner. Because how am I? Like, I want to know what the book is about, but I don't want to read the entire book to know what it's about. Give it to me in a, you know, as if I was a 3-year-old. Right? You have to explain it in a way where, you know, anyone can understand. It's very easy to understand, and you don't have to be too, like, it doesn't have to be too difficult. So for my students, that's what I want to teach them. You don't have to, you know, always follow the textbook sentences if you want to say something in English. It's okay to have broken English. I mean, heck, I use broken English a lot too. And as long as I get the message across, it's fine. Everyone is fine, right? Maybe I should have worded it better, but I'm not gonna spend the time if I need to get this message understood as quickly as possible, right? It's like, you know, it's fine if you have broken English. I mean, I'm pretty sure my Korean is pretty broken as well, but people still understand it if I'm speaking in Korean, right? As long as I got the message across, as long as I got the idea across. That's the most important thing, I feel. So that's what I'm planning. I'm planning on doing some sort of speaking activity throughout the semester, and because it's a recording, I can play it back to them at the end of the semester and then, like, show them or play it back for them, and so they can recognize how much they've grown. Now, here's the second thing. Because I kind of know how, like, what level my students are in terms of English. It's kind of difficult for them to kind of speak on the top of their head to convey an idea with English. Obviously, they can do it in Korean. They can obviously communicate their ideas in Korean because that's their native language, right? That's the language that they're most comfortable with. But I don't mind if they write out their script or write out some sort of pretext in Korean and then translate it back into English. I can help them with that. right? My Korean is decent enough that I can help them, and if I can't, there's always translators, right? This is the world we live in. We can use translators, right? So if we don't know how to say something, we can translate it, and voila. Now with my students, obviously I shouldn't give them difficult terms or difficult vocabulary. It should be things that they can easily recognize, right? If they can easily pull this word out of the dictionary or whatever, right? Or the textbook, any sort of like reading material, like children's books, right? If they can pull out that vocabulary from children's books, right? We're not going to use super long, complicated words that specifically have a definition for this specific situation, right? That's too difficult for them. Like I'm pretty sure like in Korean there are some words that don't translate into English, and there are words that are in English that don't translate into Korean, right? There are always these things, these words. So I'm obviously going to try and avoid it. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as I can, but still try and convey the idea. I think that's like the goal for every language, or like anyone who's trying to learn a new language, or at least try and learn or self-learning. That's very important, right? I think that's a very important concept for anyone who wishes to be more fluent in whatever they're doing, right? Whether or not be learning a new language, getting better at math, any subject, any hands-on project, right? You gotta somehow self-learn, right? And Koreans are very good at self-learning, right? They cramp themselves up in libraries and they study for like 12 hours, which is good. And that means that they can understand the material, hopefully. But when I want to focus more on daily conversation, where it's not all about the material you studied, things change, and you have to react based on how they change. So I guess it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be a good idea. I don't know if I should do it with the younger students because obviously their English is not as proficient compared to the students that I've actually been working with. Like the more proficient students. I've also thought about doing like a weather forecasting, where I can, I can put it on YouTube and stuff. Probably gonna unlist it. I'll probably make like a YouTube channel for my school or something like that, and then like it'll be a way to document it, right? And like obviously weather forecasts are pretty general things, right? We can all talk about, oh, today is sunny, today is cloudy, stuff like that. How many degrees is it? Is it in the negatives today? Is it cold today? Is it hot? Right? These are very simple things that we can all relate to, even if it's in English or Korean, right? The weather is cold. Okay. How cold? How many degrees in Celsius? How many degrees in Fahrenheit? Whatever your system is. How humid is it? What about the next couple days? How is it going to be this week? Right? These are concepts that everyone already understands, right? So it's just a matter of, okay, I understand how to say this in Korean or English. Now I just need to, translate it into the other language that I'm trying to learn. So for me, I understand, okay, today is cold. How cold? Maybe it's -1 degrees today, degrees Celsius today. So in Korean, you could probably say 오늘은 추워요. Like, today is cold. It's -1 degree Celsius. 오늘 -1도 Celsius, right? Something like that, right? It's although the way you say it might be different, it still conveys the same message, right? Although like it's not going to be exactly the same as a weather forecast spokesperson. It's not going to be the same as what they say, but it conveys the same message. It conveys the same idea, and that's all I care about. I just want them to speak more, right? I don't care if you get it wrong. I don't care if you have to speak it in broken English, as long as you're trying. That's most important, because I'd rather you try than not, right? At least if you try, I can be like, hey, you did a really good job, but if you want to be more fluent, you can try this. And this is obviously for the older students who recognize that there's always room for improvement. Which leads me into this other story that happened while I was teaching. So it's one of those days where I'm doing like I guess like a test. It's not really a test because I mean I do mark it, but I don't like really care like if you fail or pass or fail. It's more to see if you comprehended the chapter. Yeah, I guess it's like a comprehension chapter review test sort of thing. And so one of the questions, and this is with my grade 5 student or 5th grade student, there was one question where it was like, what is the word for breakfast? Or like, because that chapter talked about time, and then it's like, what time do you eat breakfast? And like there were so like you have to write it in English. Obviously, you have to spell it out in English. And breakfast it's a pretty long word, right? It's a pretty long word to spell. It's got a lot of letters. And he was like, "Oh, I don't know how to spell breakfast. I know how to spell fast because I know breakfast has the word fast in it, but I don't know how to spell breakfast." And then I'm like, okay, spell it how you think it sounds, right? And I was like, breakfast. How do you think it's spelled when I say the word breakfast? And he contemplated for such a long time. And then he's like, can I just use the dictionary? And I'm like, knock yourself out. If you know how to look up the word breakfast in the dictionary, you can look up any word, right? Because like spelling to me, we all make spelling mistakes. I make spelling mistakes in Korean, I make spelling mistakes in English. It's inevitable, right? We all make spelling mistakes. Is it receive? Is it the I before the E or the E before the I? Like, it always confuses me, and then, word always, puts a red little snake under it, and it's like, oh, right, that's how you spell it. But like, it's fine. Spelling mistakes are fine, okay? As long as you recognize it, and you make you make it to the correct spelling, then you're fine, right? And so first he looked at children's books, because usually children's book, they talk about breakfast, they talk about lunch, right? Like in Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? What am I gonna have for breakfast and something? And it's like, oh, my bowl of congee is too sweet, too salty, right? So like children's books is really good if you want to look up vocabulary, simple vocabulary, right? So throughout the class, there's usually like a lot. I have a lot of children's books in my classroom, and he looked through all of them, and he only found lunch and dinner. Now that's very close, right? Lunch and dinner. So breakfast should be, not too far. But there were no books, no children's books that talked about breakfast, unfortunately. So he looked around the classroom again, and he found the dictionary. Okay, great. And so I told him, okay, what does breakfast start with? He says B. Okay, so I told him, okay, look through the B section. And then I said, what's the second letter of breakfast? He's like, R. Okay, so you narrowed it down, B-R. And then he looks through the BR section. And then like on the first page, break. The word break, to break something, right? That word comes up, and I was like, what's the word after break? And he looks down, breakfast. This is literally the word after break. And I was like, there you go. Now you know how to spell breakfast, right? And he's like, oh, what is, like, the dictionary, never knew it would be that useful. And it has like the Korean translation of it, and like how to use it in a sentence, right? So I'd rather him, even though it was a comprehension test, I'd rather him kind of like look for the answer rather than like depending on someone else to give him the answer. I felt like that was very helpful for him, and I would rather him try to look for the answer himself, right? instead of always asking for someone to give him the answer. Like, I found that very commemorable. Oh, Portal? Ah, Frito. That's okay. Let's do Frito. Chicken dance. See, the reason why I don't want to do Frito is because they do take a lot of time out of my rune. And that's also the reason why I need to focus. Ah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so like, I think I might be able to get more experience if I wasn't on the rune. Like, yeah, I get 47 mil from completing Frito, but I wanna, like, if it conflicts with my rune, I might wanna, like, skip on it. But the Paulo, it uses the rune multiplier, so that helps a lot too. Anyway, we're halfway through 192, and I haven't been using my buffs consistently, which is fine. I also realized that this is over. It's a 15-minute thing, and we are 21 minutes in, so that's 6 minutes without the actual 2x. Whoops. It's okay. We have the time. We have plenty of time, guys. I guess we're only making it 195. So yeah, like if you guys are ever trying to self-learn something, you know, use your resources, right? Use whatever you have to get the answer, or to get whatever you need. Right, that's why we have YouTube. YouTube's a great method of learning. We have online resources, which are very helpful. And then we also have the education system, which slowly is becoming not too helpful. Especially with my my bachelor's degree. Not that helpful. I mean, actually, I shouldn't say that. I should say, because I majored in photography, my skill set that I bring into the workforce is very diverse. I bring a lot of different skill sets to whatever job I'm applying to, right? Because I know how to use the Adobe suite, because I know how to work with technology very well, and then all it comes down to is personality, right? And the willingness to learn. I think those are more important traits now for people who are trying to hire people, like younger people, because like at the end of the day, you're still going to have to train that new recruit, regardless of how much experience they have. You're still going to have to train them, because every company works slightly different, right? Could be the system that you're using differently, could be, you know, like minor things that are just slightly different from their experiences. Yeah, they can work, like, you know, efficiently and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you know, once, like I feel like personality is a bigger factor, because, you know, you can have two people who are equally competent, right? But you're gonna choose the one with the better personality, because it's, you know, maybe that person's easier to communicate with, maybe that person can convey ideas in a more concise manner, right? There's so many different factors, but they're both equally competent. It's just one may be less able to convey their ideas, or less communicative, right? Some people are just shy, some people are just introverted, they don't want to talk to anyone, me included. Some people are more extroverted, you know? So as a as as someone who's hiring people, I would say be open-minded, because even if someone who isn't as capable but has a better, like a more easier to work with personality, I think they might grow a lot from it and bring better rewards, or like reap better accomplishments. So it's not always to say like the better person who's vastly better at and more competent at that specific role is better for the job. I mean, at certain cases, yes. I mean, medical field, yes. Someone who's good at saving lives is probably good. But like a lot of people are in the business field. A lot of people are in service fields, right? Like restaurants, bars, stuff like that. Like cashiers, right? These people are part of like service, right? And if even though they might make mistakes, it's fine, right? Or like as long as they recognize it and they have a good personality about it, right? Like, kind of have to make sure they don't make a mistake in the first place. If your training is good, dude, they shouldn't be making mistakes. But for me, when I was working back in Canada, I feel like I was instantly hired on the spot because of my personality and because I was capable, but mostly because of my personality, I think. Same thing for my Korean job. I think I was pretty much instantly hired because of my personality. Like I had an interview via like Skype, because the employer was overseas and I was still in Canada back then. He asked me like a lot of questions, just personality questions, I guess. They weren't really like, are you capable of speaking English? Obviously you are, because I was speaking English obviously speaking English to the interviewer. But like, I guess he wanted, because like this isn't too difficult of a job, teaching English. Yeah, like it's difficult to live in Korea if you don't speak Korean and the only thing you can speak is English. Then it's gonna get difficult, right? But at the end of the day, it's more personality. Like, how does your personality fare if you're gonna get sent to this country where English is not the first native tongue? Like, are you gonna be okay, right? It's basically a mentality thing too, right? A lot of the teachers that I've spoken to, they were like, yo, I broke down, or like I can't deal with this. Like my co-teacher just like doesn't understand how to communicate with me, or like they have like arguments and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, I really got the lucky end of this, or I got the good side of the stick. I didn't get the short end of the stick. I got the long end of the stick. But like, wow, I am so lucky that I have a co-teacher who, this is talking previous the previous year of my experience. I had a co-teacher who spoke fluent English, like 100% fluent English, and like she was able to convey like ideas very well to me. She and I were able to communicate very well, mostly because I was able to speak Korean too, and she spoke fluent English, and so I was like, yeah, it's okay. You can decide to choose whichever one you want. Like, you can communicate via Korean if you really needed to, and I would understand. But she never did. Well, she rarely did. Rarely. She did actually try to translate things at once. At one time, I was like, I gave her the I'm kind of confused, or I don't understand look, and then she looked over to me and she's like, yeah, that's basically what it means. And I'm like, oh, okay. A lot of the times where she just translated things for me was during like assemblies at school. We because it's conducted in Korean, obviously, and I don't like 100% not fluent. I think I'm like 60 something percent to 70 something percent fluent in the language. So like I don't fully understand what everything like everything that's happening, but like I understand enough that I like, okay, I get the gist of it. Like if I use my interpreting skills, like I get it. I can understand. I don't understand exactly like the vocabulary that they're using to convey the message, but I can understand the idea behind it still. Right? And then from there on I can, you know, react based on it. Now, because my previous co-teacher now has exhausted her 5-year duration at one school, she is now forced to switch to a different school, which is fine. I don't mind. But that means I have to deal with a new co-teacher. Now, I've only met my new co-teacher once, and I don't think she's as communicative as my previous co-teacher. I don't know how well her English is. I don't know how good her English is. I'm kind of itching to see how good it is. However, I've kind of been, you know, left in the dark this entire year anyways, so it really makes no difference whoever my co-teacher is. As long as the co-teacher you know, is able to tell me things, right? Tell me the news, like what's going on. You know, is there anything special going on, right? Oh, I should probably change channels, right? If there's any sudden like changes to the schedule, stuff like that, if, you know, hopefully they convey that. Doesn't matter even if it's in Korean, like if you like, cause like I understand days, right? I can understand time of concept. Let's do this. I know I just I just got a rune. Oh, there we go. But like, yeah, as long as someone who can communicate responsibly, then it's fine. I don't really care who I work with, right? Because I can do my own thing. If you know, if there's a change in schedule, let me know. I think the other teachers have already been doing that. Like, for example, the 4th grade teacher. Now his English isn't the best, and it's very broken. However, when he speaks to me in Korean, he's asking, "Oh, would you mind swapping this time slot so I can do that with my class?" And then in turn, you can, like, is it okay if you you know, do your class at this time? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like, like if you think it's more important because you are the homeroom teacher, switch it by all means, right? Just let me know so I don't sit there for 40 minutes like an idiot thinking that my students are skipping class. I don't you know, like, it's just that small things. But yeah, I hope my new co-teacher is just as good. But yeah, because I spoke to my previous co-teacher, we're on pretty close terms. Told her a bunch of personal stuff. She's told me a bunch of personal stuff, and we still keep in contact, mostly because, well, I don't get to see her now, so I have to step up my game. I have to step up my keep in touch game. And then, so yeah, she told me where her new school that she was gonna transfer to. It's actually not too far from my school, so, you know, I can always just drive over. Now that I have a car, I told her like so long about wanting a car and buying a car. Like, she was the first person that I was like, I want to drive to school because I don't want to be like, it's still for me a burden that one of the other teachers, the kindergarten teacher at my school, drives me to and from work. I mean, I know I'm very grateful that she does that. You know, I'm flattered. I am, you know, I'm thankful, and she is being so, you know, gracious to help a foreigner out. Well, I'm still a foreigner, but she's so nice, she's so kind to help me out. I mean, I'm pretty sure she understands the conditions that I'm going through, right? First of all, you're living alone in a foreign country. You don't know anyone, right? I don't have relatives here. I don't know anyone here. I don't have a lot of like close friends that live like close by. And the fact that I got sent to a countryside is even worse, right? Because like a lot of people, you know, they get sent to like cities, right? They're actual called cities, right? So it's not, you know, too difficult to navigate. First of all, you know, there's a good transportation system. If you need to go somewhere, you can get there. You know, there's a lot of things to do in the city. You know, go to galleries, museums, cafes, and everything. You know, like it's you'll be fine if you're in the city, right? You can meet people there. But here in the military town slash village slash boony, the boonies, there's not much to do. Okay, there are like I admit there's not much to do. And if you need to go anywhere, let's say if you need to go to Seoul, it's 2 hours. Okay, it's 2 hours by bus, right? It's not a subway, right? Subways are okay, right? You know, but it's by bus and you're traveling by mountain roads. It gets really dark at night. There's not that many street lights. And you're gonna have to rely on the bus schedule. Now, as I've heard many times from my neighbors, it's very, very early that they close the bus, the public transportation. If you were to go to Seoul from my town, you can go anytime, right? Like during the day, like you can go towards Seoul pretty much like any time of the day, except for like late night. Early morning is fine. Like I think you can go to Seoul very early morning, but like late at night, probably gonna be closed by then. But what about if you're coming back from Seoul? Let's say, you know, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I gotta get back from Seoul. It's Sunday night, you know, Monday morning I gotta be at work. Sunday night, like what's the latest I can stay in Seoul before coming back? The latest bus coming home from Seoul is 8:30. Now it's a 2-hour ride. That means you're gonna get back at around 10:30, which makes sense, right? You don't like, you know, bus drivers, they need to go home, they need rest, they need to see their family, right? I totally understand. Now, the closest city to me is an hour away, and the latest bus time to come home from the closest city, which is an hour away, is 7:20, which means you're gonna get back here at around 8:20. 8:20. Now I know Korea, people don't sleep. Okay, people sleep late. People go to, you know, people just, you know, late. Everything late, right? Well, in terms of like sleeping late, partying up till late, you know, those things late. Now I don't understand why a city that's, you know, relatively close by, an hour away versus 2 hours away, coming home would end an hour earlier, you know? Or like would be an hour earlier, right? Like, does it make sense? And here's a more shocking thing. There's another smaller city. It's considered a town, but they held like a lot of festivals during the year, or like they hold like an annual festival during the year that attracts some tourism. That little town is only half an hour away from where I live. That bus, the latest bus from that town, which is half an hour away, the latest bus that comes home is 6:20 or 6:30. I'm like, hold on a second. It's half an hour of a drive. This is all via bus. It's half an hour of a drive, and your latest bus is around 6:30 p.m. That means you only get back at 7, which is dinner time. I'm confused. I mean, how? I can make 2 trips to and from, which is going to be an hour, and I would get to the city But it, you know, the last bus is 6 something. It goes back to a boony village. I mean, is there another schedule that takes longer? Like, are you gonna go from the boony town to somewhere else that takes longer? Is that the reason why? Like, it makes no sense. Literally makes no sense. Why it would be so early, the last bus, when Seoul, 2 hours away, has the latest bus time. So that's it's inconvenient, right? It's inconvenient living in the countryside, which is why I bought a car. Even if, and so like I've been telling my co-teacher, I was like, if I were living in a city, I don't think I would want to buy a car, right? Public transportation, I'm fine with that, right? Like in Seoul, I don't plan on driving in Seoul because of, like, I know how bad the traffic is there, and the public transportation is just much more faster, right? Taking the subway, much more faster. Like, if I need to go somewhere that's slightly far in Seoul, I might take a taxi, right? Taxis are cheap, right? They're cheap here. I don't have to invest in a car in Seoul. First of all, my school's probably not going to be that far. I can probably take transportation to get there, right? And you're pretty much gonna have to pay for parking everywhere in Seoul, right? It's basically like downtown Toronto for me. So like everywhere, you know, you're gonna parallel park. You're gonna have to find like parking grounds, parking lots, and like they're not free parking lots. They're paid parking lots, and you have to like, oh, it's such a headache, right? But over in countryside, you know, things are different, right? You can park anywhere you want, you know, as long as as long as you're not like blocking the road, you can kind of park anywhere you want. You can drive to different places, right? I can drive to the city. I can drive to the smaller town within an hour, right? And those places are also all free parking, right? So there's advantages, right? There's advantages. I get paid a small amount more than people who are teaching in the city, because we are technically in a rural town, so we get rural expenses or pay. So I technically earn just a tiny bit more than everyone else. What else? Food is roughly the same. I would say it's a little bit cheaper depending on like where you go and how you spend your money. You can, yeah, it's more that depends on you. There's definitely less things to do, which means less going out and less money to spend things on. I spend most of my money on food, you know, clothes, stuff, right? Gadgets that I need, right? I spent my money on a computer in like within like 2 months. I saved up. I bought my computer. Yeah, I bought my computer like within 2 months. Oh, oh, this map doesn't have burning. It's almost been a year. It's almost been 1 full year since I've owned this computer. But like, yeah, like I can decide what I can spend my money on after I save it up, which is great. And so I spent my money on a car. I spent a year of savings working here to buy a car, and I totally don't regret it. It's nice. It's nice owning a car. I mean, yeah, there are, you know, fees that aren't evident straight out when you don't actually own it, because like now I've kind of you know, boiled it down like every other week, so bi-weekly. If I go to get gas, it's roughly, I want to say like $100 bi-weekly. No. Well, I've only owned the car for like a month, so and I've only paid like $140 for gas in total, mostly because the first day when I actually owned the car, like when I went to go to the registration office, equivalent DMV, and actually get the car registered under my name, The dealer never gave me a full tank of gas. He just left me, and I was like, dude, I have like I have 50. I have to travel 50 kilometers to get home, and there's only like 30 kilometers left of gas according to, you know, the sensors. and so I was like, oh, I need gas, and then he's like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. I was like, you're kidding me. So I had to stop and get gas. And the way, you know, the system works here, it's you pay first and then you get gas, which is it's just foreign to me because I'm used to getting gas first and then paying for how much it is. So yeah, that's Canada. Like you pump $60 in and then you pay $60, and then you always like, it's like a small game where it's like you gotta, like, if it's $59.99, you gotta get it to 60, and then like you press too much on the nozzle and it goes to 61 and 1 cent, and it's like, I could have gotten perfect $60 or something like that. Here it's like it's always gonna be that amount. And then like, let's say, you know, so like you pay 60,000. Let's say you pay 60,001, and in actuality you actually use like around like $55. Then like it stops it off, and then it actually takes $55 from the transaction. It doesn't take 60. So the next time you go, you know, it's whatever. But then like, if let's say you know, you want to control your spendings, right? And you don't need that much fuel, or you don't need that much fuel for, you know, maybe you're gonna like go on a trip, right? You're gonna go on a vacation, something like that, and you're not gonna use all of the fuel, right? Then it's like, okay, I can save some money now and put like, you know, $30 in. You can put $30 in, right? So I guess it's nice that way. Oh, are we gonna get to 5th? Ah, so close. I got to 4th, level 4. That was close. Let's use this one. So yeah, 1 month I think is around $100. 1 month. Yeah, cause 2 weeks ago I spent maybe $60 and then $40 again. And like, luckily because of coronavirus, I don't have to go out as often, which means I don't have to use so much fuel. But at the same time, my car is just sitting in the parking lot, not being used. It's kind of a good thing because I don't want to really use that much mileage. Like I don't want to stack that much mileage on my car. Right now it's got like 9,200. I think from the previous car vlog, I think it was like 9,100. So it's not that bad. Kind of want to keep it a little bit low mileage, so I don't have to constantly go into maintenance, or I don't have to constantly get it serviced. That would be great. And yeah, fuel is just fuel. And I guess it's gonna like I kind of want to save money just in case like something does break, you know, because, you know, wear and tear, eventually something's gonna break. Like servicing is gonna be a big expense, right? Like I hear from my dad, because he drives. he owns. We used to own 3 cars, and then my brother took on all of the expenses for his car. So now my dad only technically owns 2 cars, or one, because one of them broke down, battery's dead. He doesn't drive that one anymore. He hasn't gotten it serviced. But like just going in to get maintenance, like oil change, you know, stuff like that, it costs a lot, especially because labor fees in Canada are ridiculous. It's not even like parts that are expensive, it's the labor fee that really gets you. So, oh my god, we're not gonna make it to 195. It's 49 minutes into the recording, guys. And yeah, we have not gotten a single Polo portal today. Our luck is not here with us today. I guess we're finishing the episode at 195, guys. Or I'll end the episode at 195, time-lapse the rest from 195 to 200. And then the next episode, okay, will be straight up 200 stuff, right? It's going to be a short finale, I'm guessing. It might be a short finale, but we're going to go through Vanishing Journey stuff. We're going to go through 5th job, right? We're going to go through 5th job. We're going to show off the skills. And then to end off the series, or end off this mini-series, let's do normal Magnus. I think, actually, no. Let's do Gollux. We're gonna do Gollux. I think Gollux is a pretty fun boss to end the series with. I don't know. I don't have to do the pre-quests. I think we'll do CRA as well. Not CRA because I don't regular. All right, normal. Weird Abyss. We'll do some bosses as a finale to the series, just to show off how strong Hoyoung is. Well, I'm kind of funded, kind of. Kind of. But yeah, I think the next series will be dedicated to level 200 and plus. We'll do some bosses, show off the 5th job skills, you know, get 5th job and stuff like that. And then that, I think we can call it a finale next episode. If I just sit here today and just grind to 200. I'll record everything. I won't speak. I won't do commentating. I won't tell story time. It's just gonna be sped up footage. Maybe yeah. Sounds good. I'll put some BGM. I'll put some background music. Mostly gonna be songs from Marcus, good friend Marcus. If you guys haven't checked out his Spotify, you should check it out. He's got some pretty good stuff. Like this is okay. Story time part 2. This is one time I was in a Discord call with some people from the GFriend Discord server, and people who are watching from GFriend's Discord server. Shout out to you guys. You guys are cool. But yeah, like I was playing some of Marcus's music via Discord chat, Discord voice channel, and I was like, I played through like his entire Spotify, and I was like, so what do you guys think about like this artist? Or, like, what do you guys think about this, like his music? And they're like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. Like it's not like the normal EDM. It's kind of like chill EDM stuff, and it's like pretty well composed. And so I was like, what do you guys think? And then they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like I'd be into it, you know, stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, my friend from university where I met him, he does this as a hobby. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, that's the story. So yeah, let's make it to 195 just to close, you know, have some sort of ending, right? It's not gonna be, you know, I don't want to end you guys off at 77%. You know, let's make it to you know what? What if the Infernal Wolf puts me at 195? Let's see. I don't know. How am I supposed to attack? Oh, I have this skill too. I think this skill is stronger. Oh, and it's a stun. Right. I forgot, it's a stun. But this skill does faster lines of damage? I don't know. I can't tell. Can I combo? No, I can't combo. But yeah, like this skill does more damage, but slower DPS? Let's see how much I get. 29 mil. That's worse. That's so bad. So I get 29 mil experience just for doing the Infernal Wolf. That's less than Frito. Yeah, not worth. Guys, it's not worth. Especially if you don't do enough damage. Not worth. Oh, what? Someone defeated it already? What? Hello? Okay. Wow. I literally just went in. Like seriously, I literally just went in. Oh god, I love that spell trace though. Yeah, I need to figure out Hoyoung's bossing mechanics against single target. Like which one's better? Which skill is better? This cloud jumping skill, which does, hold on, let's see. 5 attacks versus 5 attacks. Additional. I don't understand all that junk. Yeah, I don't understand all that junk. But yeah, we're closing in on 195. This is a pretty solid amount of effort or progress. Pretty satisfied. Because like every episode, the closer we get to 200, and you know, this one's been a pretty fun series. It's been a long series because I've been lazy to record, but I enjoy Hoyoung. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bad class. I wouldn't say it's too bad of a class. Let's use this skill on him. Oh, never mind. There's a cooldown. Still on cooldown. Yeah, yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad, right? Especially because it's a thief class. You dodge everything, so you're not too squishy. Depends if you do bossing. If you go bossing, you're gonna get wrecked. Because since the bosses now, they just do percent max HP. You. So have fun with that, guys. 99%. And there it is, 195. Thank you guys so much for watching, and show your support in however you fancy, and I will see you in the next video, our finale video. Take care.